Welcome to all my travelers out there. I am your host, Darren Beckett, and this is the Global Travel Podcast. For those who do not know my travel resume, I've been to 13 states, 15 countries on 5 different continents, but it is not about me. Here, we are giving you quality travel tips, insights, and recommendations on all the best destinations for ideas to enjoy your vacations. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We are all clear for takeoff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we reach our destination, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and if you could do me a favor, in the comment section below, leave us a comment, type in the words, "I got my ticket," and at the end of the show, I'm going to come back, I'm going to respond and see how your experience went with us, all right? So with that being said, on today's episode, we are taking a trip to Taiwan. So make sure you got your passports, your earphones, and something to snack on. We have a very special guest here with us today. But before I introduce them, let me just say this. Now, this young lady is very smart, very talented. She speaks multiple languages, English, Mandarin, and she's working on, and she also speaks Spanish. She's been to 17 different states, so she has a wealth of knowledge, information there and knowledge there. And then also, she's been to 5 different countries, so we're gonna definitely dive into that as well. So without further ado, let me introduce you to T. Lynn. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Cool. Thank you for being a guest on the show. We definitely love it. We haven't been to Taiwan yet, so we definitely gonna make that trip today. So that's gonna be cool. And let me see. Tell the people about you. Who are you? Where are you from? Where are you currently at? Your hobbies, X, Y, and Z.
Oh, okay. So I am Sacramento raised, and then from California. So from Sacramento, California, went to school in San Diego, SDSU, San Diego State University alum. And then now I am currently in Taiwan, which is honestly kind of wild considering how I got here. But it's been a blast. And hobbies, 2020 has been rough. So usually I would say my hobbies would be reading and writing. Big Netflix and YouTube fan. Haven't been able to do much writing. Last year I did write a book, wrote a poetry book called Awakening the Dragon. That's on Amazon if you would like to get it. And then, yeah, just kind of living, exploring, trying new things. I make an effort to try one new thing or do something new every day. So that's me.
Good. I love
Oh,
that.
also, sorry,
Go ahead.
member of Sigma Lambda Gamma National Sorority Incorporated. My bad. That's very
Got
important.
you.
Gammas, all my gammas out there if you're watching.
Rep, we gotta rep your org. I understand. Got to get it out there. That's what's up. That's what's up. As a matter of fact, I think I have a couple friends in that sorority as well, if I'm not mistaken. But
Great.
yeah. So far as your travels and whatnot, what states have you been to so far?
Okay, I'm gonna try to go from left over. So I've driven through Oregon.
Uh-huh.
We made a couple stops, but I don't really remember it that much. On our way up to Washington, the state. Definitely went to Washington, the state, like once, like every summer for like 5 years. Love
Mm-hmm.
Washington. It's a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
state. Been to Nevada. Um, I think we spent a Thanksgiving there. Where else have I been? This year, actually, I just went on a cross country trip with a friend, law student. She graduated and her new job is in DC,
Mm-hmm.
and she didn't want to ship her car because that's money.
Yeah.
So we drove. Which was really wild because it was also during when all the protests and stuff were happening. So it was just kind of like very weird to be kind of going through all the states while all that was going down. But we started San Diego, so we drove through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Ooh, Texas is big. Texas is big. It took us that. Texas driving through Texas was the majority of the trip. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah.
Where else did we go? And we stopped and stayed in Texas. So we were there for like half a day. I think we went through Tennessee. We might have, halfway, we might have been through Arkansas. Nah, I think we were just in Tennessee, and then like Virginia, Maryland, and like the DMV area. I've been to New York, Illinois, been to Florida, Georgia, Louisiana. Love Louisiana. Went there with sisters, like stayed with sisters. Where it was in New Orleans. Amazing, amazing, amazing place. I wish I could go back. Hopefully, once everything settles down, that would be definitely a place on my list. Is that everywhere? I'm thinking.
Right.
Up
And
the
you know
coast,
what?
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
I do want to talk about a few places that you mentioned. Washington. You
Mm.
said you've been there 5 years in a row, what have you. So tell us about
Yes.
Washington. What should we expect, do, see, eat, and everything in Washington?
So family lived in, what's it called? University Place. So part of Tacoma. So Seattle, Tacoma, I didn't really stay. So about an hour out from Seattle. The Big Needle, that's like everybody goes to that one. The Space Needle, that's what it's called. Super tall. You could see all over Seattle. That's super. I'm not a heights person, but obviously I managed to, I survived it. So definitely would recommend it. It's a good view. And then I just really like, because Washington's known for raining a lot, like it's a lot of rain. So because of that, it's beautiful. It's so green. I think Washington is like one of the big reasons why when I get into forest, I actually feel calm. Like it's just like beautiful. So lots of like parks and stuff. Again, like I was staying with family, so we stuck more to like the regular stuff. But yeah, like we went on, and you got to forgive me because I was young. I was probably like middle school. So it's been some years since I've been there, but we definitely went on like a little cruise, like a little ferry to an island. And it was the indigenous people that live in Washington. They had like a show and we ate like salmon and stuff. That was really cool. And that must have been like right off the coast. So it wasn't like, a little thing, but that was cool. But yeah, just beaches and forests and water. I think they're more rocky beaches, so you'll probably be not really swimming in them like that, but just like probably water sports and canoeing and getting on a boat and everything, and trails and walking around.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Washington is gorgeous.
What's the weather like in Washington? I know you say it rains a lot. It's very green. So what's the weather like?
Yeah, mostly it's rainy. Again, I got lucky because I was always going during the summer. So that's what the few times, like, and I was going in like July. So like the heart of summer. So the sun was usually out. But then sometimes, it did still manage to rain a couple of days. But it wasn't bad. But yeah, usually it does snow out there. My cousin would show us videos and stuff. It snows. But no, for the most part, it's rainy, maybe a little bit overcast, but it's pretty good weather. Like it's pretty, what you would expect from like a more foresty type of climate.
Right. Yeah, it definitely rains a lot. That's why it's so green. And if that's your thing, some folks like the rain, some folks don't. It's just teachers on. Definitely, I know it has a lot to do with the weather, not the weather, but the weather has a lot to do with your mood and your feelings and emotions and whatnot. So they say it can be a little depressing at times, or some of the folks, they experience that a lot.
That live there.
Yeah, that live there.
Yeah, that live there. Yeah, I would only be there for a week, so I can handle it for a week and then go back to sunny California. So I'd be fine. But yeah, that is like if you're planning on living there, you might want to do some more research.
That part. And then we'll move west to east then, since that's the route we're going on this road trip as well. So Vegas, we know Vegas. I know we talked about Vegas last episode, but what are some of the things, I know you can hit the strip in Vegas. A lot of folks know about the strip, something about skydiving as well in Vegas. Any other things that you can think of that you can do in Vegas?
Oh, I actually haven't been to Vegas. Usually when I go to Nevada, I hit up Reno. So we were yes, because I was coming across from Sacramento. It's like 2-ish hours. Granted, I went for Thanksgiving. So I was in San Diego, living in San Diego at the time, and my family just drove across and I flew up. That was like about an hour flight. So that's not bad. And that was scary. I'm gonna be honest. That was real scary because I came, okay, so again, Thanksgiving. So it's winter-ish fall,
Yeah.
winter-ish, you know. And my aunt got a cabin for all of us. It was a huge cabin. Like we're 20 of us in there, and everybody had their own bed. It was nice. It was very nice. But it was up in the mountains. And again, I don't do heights. Okay. I don't do heights. That stuff scares me. And it was snowing. Like there were cars that we were in, luckily my family, we had a Highlander, so our tires were fine. But it was snowing and I had never been in the snow. And my family went to pick me up from the airport. And as we were coming back, it was snowing and there were cars that were pulling over in the snow. Like we can't drive no further. We gonna slip. I was like, bro, send me back to California. This is not it. Like I've been off the plane for less than an hour and I'm not with it. Like it was so nerve-wracking because we were literally like, you could see the canyon of the mountains that we were at. Like I was looking at it like if we slipped, we could actually end down there. And I was not with it, but I was obviously I'm fine. We were fine. I don't even think the cars that were pulling off like in the trees. So they're fine. Like we didn't see nobody slip over or anything, but that was definitely a terrifying. I don't think I've ever actually really been in snow like that. So for us to be in a car and that be like my first thing and all you see is like the snow scary. I'm a California girl. This is not it for me.
It's different. Yeah. Definitely different. So this is so a lot of folks when we think of Nevada, we always think of Las Vegas. So there are other places in other cities to visit in Nevada, believe it or not. And Reno is one of them. And is I believe Lake Tahoe is one of the another. I don't know if that California. Is that California? That's
we're like on there's half of depending on what side you're on. So it can be California and sometimes it could be Nevada. Yeah, definitely spent a lot of childhoods on Lake Tahoe too. Yes, maybe take a day trip or something. Yeah, Tahoe's up in there. And that's also, grab a cabin or something. When I was younger, we didn't get cabins. I think my family just this past year, earlier this year, went for somebody, I think my brother's birthday, they went and got a cabin up there and were there for like a night. But yeah, that's also a bunch of water sports. That one we did get in the water. It is rockier beach, but definitely a lot of fun, get some food, have snacks, whatever, be there for the day and then head home. Yeah. Like Tahoe's nice.
Is there a particular type of food that you recommend over there? Or is it pretty standard, like just a regular American food?
See, we always brought our food. This was when when I was young, I was a poor child. Like now my younger siblings, they're all spoiled because my parents have money now. So they probably went and bought food, but we always brought like, your typical sandwich, you get Subway or something, and bring up your food, your watermelon and fruits and stuff. But yeah, because I don't really know the restaurants up there because we weren't eating out like that back then.
That's a great way to travel, though. Like I said, if you still want to travel, man, don't let money stop you. There's ways of traveling if you be resourceful. Pack your lunch, man. Pack a lunch. Get you some sandwiches. My auntie y'all call sandwiches, so we call them sandwiches. Hey, baby, get you a sandwich. I'm like, okay, auntie, I'll give you one of them sandwiches. But pack you a lunch. Get you some sandwiches or what have you, some chips or whatever, and then you can make it work. Go, like you say camping. It's more of an outdoor activity, maybe hiking and nature. If you're into nature and hiking, that's probably a place that you want to visit. So definitely do that. And then let's go ahead and keep moving east. We're in Nevada right now. Where we're going next? What was the next spot you like to talk about in the state?
Arizona is amazing. Yes. My family, so for 2 Easters in a row, we get that whole week off. First Easter, we went to Phoenix. Phoenix is definitely more, I think it's the capital, unless I'm tripping. But like Phoenix is definitely more, I could be tripping. I can't remember. It's been a minute. But it's definitely more the city area. So definitely remember like malls and all of that fun stuff and eating out and everything. I think the first time I ever went to Golden Corral was in Phoenix. Yeah, it might have been. So yeah, definitely more city stuff. We might have visited the campus, University of Arizona over there. Maybe not. But yeah, so I just remember Phoenix was more city and Tucson is definitely the nature. Okay, because I remember us hiking.
Okay, Tucson.
I remember even like us just driving around seeing like desert. If there it was either houses or it was like desert. Like there's not really much out there. And then also the biosphere too, which is super cool. It's called Biosphere 2 because Earth is like Biosphere 1. So they try to replicate Earth and like how like plants wise and all that stuff. The people who were living there, I think they were trying to like live there for a certain amount of time. They started to run out of oxygen. So that was like a thing that it didn't like work as perfectly as, you know, planet Earth does. But yeah, it was really cool. It was like very interesting. Like they take you through and I don't know. I'm like a museum person. So that was definitely would recommend Biosphere 2 if you can for Tucson.
Definitely. Yeah. So as you hear, all my travelers and listeners out there, if you're in AZ, you want to go to somewhere city like, you can go to Phoenix, and if you're more of a nature person, definitely hit Tucson. So you can you got options. You got options. And did you what time? Because I know in Arizona it get real hot, like 115 type, like on a regular. So what time of the year did you go?
We went Easter. So like March, late March, early April. So like this was spring. It did still get hot though. I think I do remember it still getting hot, but it was like 90s as opposed to being the dead of summer and being 150, you know?
Took a break, 90s a break. Like, you know, we're gonna give you a break today. We're just gonna be 90. We're just gonna be 90.
Yeah. Because we did drive through Arizona this past summer. And again, that was end of May. End of May, first week of June. And we got lucky. We drove past our gas station and she has a nice car. So you could see how many miles you have left. We had like, the gas station was 15 miles away. We had 19 miles left on the gas. On
and
the tank.
Those ain't always accurate neither. Sometimes.
Well, I know, but yeah, but I was like,
careful.
oh Lord. And it was 115 outside. Like even when we finally like, by the grace of God, we got to our gas station, everything, and you open the door, and I was like, I don't want to. Oh my gosh, where is it? It was bad. Like standing outside for 2 seconds was like dripping in sweat. It was bad. So I feel like people bake cookies. They sure do. They put their cookies on there and we put them in their car and they bake them for a certain amount of time. People definitely do that in Arizona.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced because Arizona. I don't know if y'all have never been in AZ, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. You want to pick the right time to go. You just don't want to don't go by mistake and just be like, let's go to Arizona and it's accidentally summertime. If you're not from Arizona, not from a hot place, you're not gonna survive. Because like I said, it can get to 115. It can get to 115.
It's bad. It's bad.
So where we going next? What state are you taking to next? Talk to us.
Let me see. We can, because I was like, we went to New Mexico and we were in Texas. Texas, we didn't do too much. I just remember it being hot as mud, or not as hot as mud. That was Arizona. I just remember it being like a long trip, like 9 hours. We took a break. I think we were in Dallas. And the only significant thing that we did was I finally went and got to visit Whataburger. Like because everybody always be talking about Whataburger, and I'm like, what is it? It was I was not feeling I wasn't really feeling it. The fries were bomb though. Fries were bomb. The burger really was just kind of like, it just tasted like an end of the school year barbecue type of burger. Like it was real average. Like I've had this before. That's what it tasted like. No, it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't, I don't know.
You're not the You're not the only one. I'm gonna be honest with you too. You know what? Truth be told, and this is just an opinion, so don't you go try it out for yourself. But Whataburger, whatever you want to call it, it wasn't all that in my opinion. It was okay, average, I guess. Like the way you put it, end of the school year barbecue. That was funny. But yeah. But teach his own, try it out, see if it's worked for you, if it's good. I know I also tried White Castle. I forgot where was I in White Castle? Louisiana. I was in. So let's go to Louisiana. Let's take a trip. Let's go ahead and get to Louisiana.
Yes,
I know they got good food.
Oh man.
They got good food. Tell us about Louisiana.
Louisiana was amazing. Also, the person that I stayed with, she really knew her stuff. So that also added to the trip because we were driving around. She'd tell us, and she was talking about gentrification. Because it was my sister, Black Soror. She's telling us this area is gentrified and talking like it was just really just a very culturally rich thing. Like we was a fifth line. Second line, I'm tripping. A second line, she like was like, "Oh, come on, y'all. We were on like we were on Bourbon Street, but then also that area. I can't think of what the name of that area is because it's not just Bourbon Street.
Oh, the French
But we were
Quarters?
on, yes, the French Quarters. We were in the French Quarters, and she was like, "Oh, come on, y'all! Like, there's a second line. We gotta go." And like, she had us go over there, and we were, listening to music, chilling, dance. Like, it's just nice to see. Black folks is always just like, yes, living your life. I love to see that. We saw the Mississippi River. Okay, that huge. There was another river, like me and another sister were like, we don't believe you. This is not a lake. This has to be the ocean. Like you can't see the other side. We were talking about this is the lake. Yeah, it's huge, man. I literally, like, I was like, no, this has to be the coast. Like, I don't believe you. It's just really interesting. But we got to go. First day we went to, we went on a swamp trip. We went on a boat, and I love reptiles. My dad, growing up, he pick up snakes, pick up lizards. I love them. If I had a pet, it would be a snake. I love reptiles, and we saw alligators, which was so cool. I have all types of pictures. And it was just really nice being in the swamp, also them telling us about alligators and swamp life and who lives there and whatever. Obviously birds and everything too. And then on the way back, they pulled out a baby alligator. They're like, "Oh, you can take out a picture with it." So I have a picture. Man, I had the biggest smile. I look so goofy, but I'm so happy. I got to hold an alligator, baby alligator. It's a cute thing. She was just chilling, didn't really do anything. She was softer than I expected. And then on the way back, I actually got to try alligator, which was cool too. It was pretty good. It was good.
It tastes like chicken. I heard it tastes like chicken.
Yeah, I think it has its own slight little bit of tang, like a different little flavor. But for the most part, also it was like cooked well because I've had alligator that, now that I think about it, I've had alligator that was like iffy. It was like, this is right. But yeah, so that was a good trip. Where else did we go? We went to the Voodoo Museum. That's where we ended. Yeah, so we went to the Voodoo Museum, which was in the French Quarter, and then ended up. Then once we left that's when we went to see the second line in the Mississippi River. But the Voodoo Museum was really cool too. I think I have videos and stuff like that. It's very pretty. Voodoo definitely gets demonized, of course, which is not surprising, unfortunately. But in the long run, it's really just Catholicism mixed with African spirituality, which I actually feel like is really beautiful. And then they also tell you, like in the museum, they show there's like differences between hoodoo and voodoo. And I can't remember the difference. I remember taking a picture and I was like, I'll read this later because there's a lot going on. Because it's a small museum. Like it has like, there's the front, there's the entrance, then they take you to the back. There's like a corner, there's a room right here. And like all the halls, like the walls that are lined with information, like about, what is her name? There's a woman that is, and I have a book and I can't think of her name, but she's like known in Louisiana for being the like queen of voodoo, basically. So they have like stories about her and all of that. And then there's just a room right on the left, and then there's a room straight, and that's it. So it's like a really, really tiny thing. So it's like filled, like there's stuff on the ground and there's altars and all types of like offerings, and you can leave different stuff. It's really cool. But it's a lot. Like it's a sensory overload for sure. But that was cool. That's in the French Quarter. And then we walked around and saw stuff. I think it's funny. I think there's a sex museum too at the at the end. Not a sex museum, like it was just sex shop. So we went in there, we're goofing around and stuff too. And then right next to the Mississippi River is I'm tripping. I cannot remember these names, but it's the place where you can get beignets. Amazing.
Beignets.
Like
I haven't tried a
beignets, like,
beignet. Yeah.
oh, they're amazing. They're so good. And they're like light and they pack on the powdered sugar. It's a lot. They pack on it, but it's good. It's amazing.
So it's a pastry. What is a bean? It's a pastry with powdered sugar on it. Is there
Yeah,
anything
it's
inside of it, or
no, it's like a donut basically, but it's
like a
like square
donut?
shaped. It's like
Oh,
light and soft like a donut, and then they have the stuff outside. Yeah, donut's
and
probably
you
the
can get that
closest you
in
get to it.
Louisiana is where we can get it.
Right next to the Mississippi River, like in the French Quarter. Yeah, so it's it's like right there. Um, it's not hard to find. Like if you ask someone, you could easily ask someone like, "Oh, where's the restaurant with the beignets?" and they would be able to point you to it, because I cannot remember for the life of me. But yeah, it's good. I think that's the place also maybe that might be known for it.
Okay, cool. And then, so yeah, Louisiana was definitely a fun spot for us. Where we're going
Yes.
next? Where we're going next? What's the next state?
Ooh, I think we could skip on up to what's it called? DC.
Oh,
Because
let's
I'm
do
like all the
that.
other places, yeah. Because I'm
Yeah, let's
like,
do that.
I pretty much just everything else has been kind of like chill, visiting friends, not really
Hmm.
doing much.
Hmm.
But in DC, so an eighth grade trip, we went to all the museums. This year, I was sad. Like I said I wanted to go to DC, and I did, but I basically went there at night, so I didn't really get to do much. Like we just landed, we drove in, got to her place, and my flight was the next day. Um, but DC, just all the museums, like there's just so much history. The Smithsonian, now there's just all types of museums. Like the Smithsonian's amazing. Where else did we go? Mount Vernon. I really like Mount Vernon because it just felt like a very petite house. It's George Washington's house.
Okay.
And so it was like very colorful. Like every room had its specific colors, blah, blah, blah. Where else did we go? I'm sad. The museum I think it closed this year because they don't have the money, but that was a pretty awesome place to go. It's the Museum of News. So just like how all the news and everything. We basically went everywhere. National Archives, like anywhere you could think of in any museum that there is in DC, you need to go. That's all there
Are,
is to it.
are those museums free admission, or are they a cost to
I think
those
they
admission to those museums?
are. I think
They're
they are.
free.
From a friend that has said it,
Free.
that lives out there, I think they're free. Because granted, like for us, we're from California going on a DC trip. Everything is expensive. It was a big
Hmm.
cost to get us out there, but and like the hotel and all that stuff. But I actually think that the museums, for the most part, are actually free,
Mm.
free or like very cheap. Whatever it is, it's very cheap entry. So I really think the Smithsonian is free though. But yeah, I know that because I've had friends like talk about how cheap. Like I was complaining about how expensive museums were out here, and somebody from DC was like, "What? Like they're free where we're at? What do you mean? You guys have to pay for museums?" So I'm pretty sure they're free.
You guys gotta pay for museums? Shoot, we in California, bro. We gotta pay for to breathe out
Everything,
here.
yeah, basically.
Hey, you want these clean oxygen? That's gonna
Yeah.
cost. That's gonna cost.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what's up. I want to go to DC. It's on my bucket list as well. It's a lot of, like you say, history and culture up there. So that's
Yeah.
something that I want to experience myself. So that, and then museums, I'm a museum type of person. So that's and
Yes.
then free. I like free. Free 99 is
Free.
good in my
Free
book.
is for
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yes.
free is that part. So what was like your we've all everyone who's traveled that's been bit by the travel bug. What is
Mm.
that? Tell us that story where you got bit your first trip, the first trip where from beginning to the end. Tell us that first trip you got bit by the travel bug.
Got you. Madrid. So
Mm.
I had my neighbor across the street. She had foreign exchange students one summer, and one was from Spain,
Hmm.
and she's from Madrid. Yeah. And I had gotten into Spanish in high school, like the way that they taught it in high school, because I had learned it. I'd taken it, like we had it in school when I was younger, but it never clicked. But in high school, it finally clicked. So I got good at it, loved
Hmm.
Spanish and everything. It's funny though, because I don't like Spain Spanish. So it's funny that Madrid ended up being where it was. But anyways, so I was like chopping it up with her. She was super cool, having a good time. And she was like, oh, you should come visit me. And I didn't think anything of it. Because again, like I said, I grew up the poor child. Like my siblings now, they're all bougie or whatever. But I was just like, oh, whatever. That Spain is expensive. What are you talking about? I'm not going to Spain anytime soon. But my mom heard that. And she was like, you know what? I think we could do it. And so she asked, the exchange student, she came through EF Tours. So I ended up going to EF Tours the following summer when I was 17. I went to EF Tours and I stayed with the host family as well. She kind of did like a group thing, like every morning or whatever, they got on a bus and went somewhere. Like I think one time they went to San Francisco. For me, I stayed with a family, and then every morning I got on the metro and went to school. So to practice more Spanish and stuff. And then after, like once it was finished, it would be finished by like 2 or 3, you'd have the rest of the day to just do whatever. So I went for 3 weeks, and my host family, the daughter, she had spent a year in England, but she was like really good about not speaking English to me so I could practice my Spanish. Mm-hmm. And so that sitting there for all the meals and just chopping it up with them and everything, like for one, that really helped me get good at like negotiating language. Like, oh, I don't know the word, but it's this. Like I distinctly remember, I didn't remember the word for nun, which is monja, like the nuns that, don't get married. And I was like, it was like a woman priest. Like I said it in Spanish, and they were like, oh, it's this. And like, so things like that. So I just got like really confident with that. I met really cool people out there. Matter of fact, last year I went to Canada and visited a friend that I met from that trip. I just stayed with her, which was super cool. And because we hadn't seen each other in a while, and it was like, you know what, let's plan a trip. Like, let me come see you. So I met a bunch of people, and I was 17, walking around, doing whatever I wanted. Because my host family, she was chill. It was just kind of like, we're here for you if you need anything, but do whatever you want. It wasn't even like I didn't even have like a curfew. I just I don't like buses. Me and buses don't mix. So like even here in Taiwan, me and buses don't mix. But the metro runs until like 1 a.m. So as long as I'm on the metro before then and home and safe or whatever, it's fine. So I was walking around all day at a different museum over here, buying this, eating that, and like being able to have that freedom to do that at that age and have like that agency, and like was just like, oh my gosh, like this is a thing. And like, I'm experiencing a different culture on my own. I was like, I sent a postcard or something on my own in Spanish. Cause I cheat even here in Taiwan. Like before I started getting good at numbers, I would just look at the screen, like whatever it says, like that's what I'm not listening to you. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how much it is. And when I went to go send off my postcard, they didn't have that. So I actually had to listen to him to figure out what it was. And I was like so proud of myself. So that trip was it. Like it's funny, like the story when I came off of the plane, mind you, like a flight to Spain that has to be at least a 7-hour flight. Okay, I'm coming down the escalator, and like my best friend and her family at the time, or my best friend at the time and her family, and then my family, grandparents were all there. And I'm coming down the escalator and my face is just like, I'm here back in America, I guess. Like they distinctly remember, they're like, dang, you're not even happy to see us? And I was like, no, not really. Like I'd rather be in Spain. Why am I here? So that was the one that was like, oh yeah, like this whole traveling and freedom type of thing is pretty, this is it. This is what I'm made for.
I know what you mean. How long were you in Spain for again?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay. Yeah, that's a good time.
It was a solid amount of time.
Things. Yeah, definitely. So with that being said, we are now touched down in Taiwan. So we made it safe and sound. We finally touched down. So with that being said, tell us about Taiwan. What's to expect? What's to do? X, Y, and Z. What's up?
So living here, I will say, because when I did my interview for here, I always say living here somewhere is different than like visiting here. So there's First off, though, because of quarantine or like because of COVID, sadly, no, what's it called? They're not letting no visitors in. Like you have to have a job or something for right now. So it's like my family, like they can't come visit me. Nobody can visit me. I can go visit, you know, I can go to California, but as soon as I come back, that's another 2 weeks of quarantine. So that was interesting. That whole quarantine experience, I do have a video on that. So I don't even have to get into that because we'd be here for forever for me to even explain all of that. But that was interesting, just coming in, and it was really cool to see like Taiwan is definitely more of a communal based culture. What is that called? Collective. They're more of a collective culture. Like even now, even though there have there's virtually no COVID here, you still have to wear a mask on the on public transit. Like you will get fined, you will get kicked off. Like they're not playing that. Like wear your mask, and it's very interesting to see. So most people, and even then, like half and half, it's about half and half. People wear their masks and everything. I live in like New Taipei City, so I'm like right outside of Taipei, which is nice because I can hop in there all the time. I actually live in Danshui, which is like a kind of a fisherman's town. Not kind of, it is. It's a fisherman's town. So it's interesting because I live where people take day trips. So like on the weekends, there's like we'll have a bunch of people here walking up our old street because there's just like a bunch of shops and food and all that stuff. Like I've yet to get one, but they have like these cones of ice cream, and I swear they literally probably stack it about a foot high. I'm like dead ass. Like it's a solid amount of ice cream on that cone. And so that's like, it's really nice. I don't know if we have little ferries, but we're like right on the water. There probably is a place. I don't think where I live, but I think maybe if I go 10 minutes up somewhere, they probably have an area that has ferries and stuff. We also have a Saint Dominican. I'm bad at names. I really cannot remember, but it's a fort. It's a historic fort, and I think it was the Spanish made that fort. So we have that where I'm at. It's a historical site. Taiwan is actually very much like Washington in the fact that it's very lush, very green. It is hotter than a mug during the summer. Oh my gosh. Like because I came at the end of summer. So I touched down, I got here September 2nd. So I was like the tail end of summer. And I'd open the window because like it would get cold inside, like the AC was on. So I was like, oh, like let me open the window, put my hand out. And I probably have it open for about a good 2-3 minutes. It's like, oh, alrighty, this is getting hot, and it's humid too, so that adds to like the weight of the heat. And yeah, people are like, summer here is just miserable. Like spring is probably the better time. Right now we're in fall, so we've had the sun, and then like when the sun is out, it's just beaming. Like it's really any day the sun is out, it's beaming. Because we'll have rain. It rained. I think it was raining yesterday. Like it'll go. I've heard from my coworkers, they're like, the thing with Taiwan is that it could rain and then like not stop for 2 weeks. So yeah, so they're like, that's like, it's something that just happens. Like it might start raining one day and it don't stop for another 2 weeks. So it depends. I haven't got to the heart of the winter or anything, but yeah. So it's taken some getting to like, I don't know. I haven't felt that depressed or sad about it because it's like the sun has been out and I've enjoyed the sun. Like today, like after this, I'm probably going to make sure, well, I have errands to do, unfortunately, but I'll make sure I'm walking around in the sun and all of that good stuff so I can like soak it all in and make sure I get like my feeling with the sun. But yeah, so it actually it does get pretty rainy around here. But it also gets hot as heck. And I've heard spring is a good season. I haven't hit it yet, but I imagine for stuff to do, it's nice because there's always something to do. Like I'm in Taipei, like I said, I'm like right outside Taipei. It takes me about an hour to get in on the metro, but that's not that bad. Like the metro is cheap. It is cheap. It is very, very cheap. I'll go like an hour and it'll be like $50 NT, which is like $1 and some change, like $1.20.
Oh, okay. When you said 50, I was like, wait, 50 what?
Yeah, you were like
50?
$50? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
$50 NT.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like it's nothing. Because about 40, I think about 40 NT is about $1.10 or something. So 50 is nothing. So like it's so cheap so I'm like, it's whatever. I don't have to worry about it. It's cheap. Because Uber prices out here are about equivalent Uber prices. Like you're probably $20 for 20 minutes type of thing. Like it's pretty expensive.
Okay. Yeah.
Like 20 US bucks equivalent for 20 minutes. But yeah, just Taipei is shopping and stuff. Like just last week or the week before. The week before, yeah. Halloween. On Halloween was also our Pride Parade. And I guess it was the biggest one that we've had in history so far. So that happened, like that was in the heart of, or that was like near Taipei 101. Taipei 101 is this huge tower. It also is this bougie mall. Bougie, so bougie. But at the top, like I didn't even realize you have to like schedule when you're gonna go to the top of it. But it has, I think, it's not a glass floor, but you can see all of Taipei from there. So it's like a pretty famous thing. And you have to like schedule like 3 days out to make a visit up there. Yeah. But that was like right around the corner from Taipei 101 and the mall that's there. I went to the zoo a couple weeks ago. That was cheap. You live in San Diego because you went to SDSU. San Diego Zoo is like what, $50?
Too much, but yep.
Yeah, it's like $50, right? Why is it the zoo here was like, it was like $2. It was like $2 US. I was like, bro, what do you mean? Is this real life? Like, is this really the price? Like, I was like tripping.
Yeah.
I was like, is this subsidized by the government? Like, how is this so cheap? Because I think it's the biggest one. The one that's in Taipei is the biggest one so this is big. I didn't even hit everything. I was getting tired. Zoo is nice. And then right next to the zoo is also these gondolas. I didn't even go on those either because like I said, I was tired. And sometimes that's with the language barrier. Like I have to, there's some like fear that comes with that because like they're so nice. And honestly, probably a solid, maybe like you're probably about 50-50 with whether somebody speaks English, to be fair. So I probably could be less scared. But sometimes it's just like, that's a lot of chance. And there's like, it's stressful. And then it's like, what are some words that like I might encounter? Like, let me look some of those up. Like what's gondola? What's price? Like, oh man, I don't want to deal with it. And then you have to wait. I'll go to the zoo first. Cause I know for the zoo, I could probably get the ticket real easy and then go in and whatever. So the gondola is right there. And I think that is its own event too, because I think you can get off and then walk. So that would have been even more so. That would have been more walking. And I'm kind of glad I didn't go then, but it took a long time to get out there. Like it took probably like an hour and a half from where I'm at. Cause I'm literally the last stop. And that one was the last stop on the opposite end. But yeah, zoo is super cool. It's like, zoo's huge. They have those gondolas. I know it's super pretty. There's tea places or whatever. Taiwan is known for, actually not even, well, it's known for it, but it invented bubble tea or boba tea, like boba.
Oh, that's where it came from, Taiwan?
Yes, it's from Taiwan.
Taiwan. That's my shit.
Oh my gosh, three a block. They're everywhere. They're so easy.
Teas, man. Hey, I used to work at a Domino's as a delivery driver back when I was in college, and there was a boba tea spot right next door. So it was, I'm talking about every single day before I went home. I was like, yo, let me get that what was it? Was the green, I think the milk green tea was my thing. That was the matcha tea or something like that.
Matcha.
Yeah, that matcha tea.
Oh,
Yeah. I
fancy.
just told him, I said, just give me my regular, give me that matcha tea, give me that
Give me
matcha.
matcha.
Yeah, it was,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's everywhere here. There's right behind my school, what, 1, 2, 3 places. I think a fourth one just opened up and it looks pretty. So I might go check it out. They're everywhere, literally everywhere and for cheap. Something that I just happened to try on a whim, and somebody told me that it's actually like a Taiwanese thing. It's Dongguo cha, which is winter melon tea, and it's super sweet. And I got aloe in it, like aloe the plant. Bomb. That's my thing. Like I like boba tea with the tapioca balls and everything, but nah, give me my like winter melon tea with aloe. Like that is my favorite thing. My students love it too. Like we had it for snack, like it was in a bowl, and they were like, they figured out what it was. It was like, oh, teacher, I want a lot, please. Like, because I'm the one that soups it out, like everything. Oh, and give me some melons too. Like, oh my gosh, it's really good. I would even say, because I had never heard of it, but you can, obviously somebody tried it in the States. I was like, so none of y'all told me to try it before. Like, what the heck? You have me out here, but yeah, definitely try that. Like I know you could try it in the States. It's a really good. Definitely would recommend that one. But yeah, no, they're everywhere and it's all over the place. They have so Taiwan, you could try the best stuff. Find out which one. There are places now that like before I liked it. Now I'm like, what is this? Why I don't? No, I'm not feeling it. What are you guys doing? What's happening? Yeah, so Taiwan's known for that. And then also just nature stuff. Like, as I have found out the hard way, all types of bugs. All types of bugs. Matter of fact, like because now I'm in a different room, but when I first got to my school, I was in this other room. Man, I was getting eaten alive. Like every day, it was like 2 or 3 bites. And I was talking to my mom, like, then I moved to this one and I wasn't getting bit. Then I saw cockroaches and I was like, yo, like I cannot. And then, but I was talking to people that live here.
Were they the cockroaches that fly or those ones that just only crawl? Because it's 2 different types.
No, I think
the ones that fly.
No, I haven't seen the flying ones by the grace of God. And then the ones that have been the few that I've seen in my room have not been tiny. I didn't see some huge ones. Like I was doing laundry and I was like, yo, that one is big for no reason.
He was probably
like
doing
size of my
he was doing laundry. Yeah,
clearly,
he was doing
living his life.
He was messing up his laundry. Yeah, you're like, hey, wait a minute, this is my laundry session. Tyler, what you doing, girl?
Roaches. As long as you stay where you at. Yeah, I was trying to do my, trying to live. I know. It's funny. I told my mom, and every time I say it, it's been a couple times now. Or even think it. But I was like, oh, I haven't seen a cockroach for a moment. I knocked on wood and everything just this morning. I was taking a shower. One flew up out of my vent. I was like, yo, please, please. But, and I was stressed that was, because everything has been good for a moment. Everything I've been adapting pretty well. But when I first moved to this room and the first thing I saw were cockroaches, I was like, yo, I felt like there was no place that I could feel clean. And that was stressful because it's then if my home isn't clean, then what is clean? Because the other room was just people had left their trash cans and there were trash cans that they had trash can gets debris at I was like, I don't want to touch this. I don't even, and then throwing trash away in Taiwan is so stressful that I was like, I can't even throw this away. Usually I would have just tossed it in the dumpster. If I had been in the States, I'd been like, I don't want this trash can. I don't want to clean it. That's gross. I'm gonna throw it away, which, okay, maybe that's bad. Sorry, recycling or whatever. But I don't want to deal with it. I'm throwing it away. In Taiwan, I can't even do that. Oh my gosh, it's so stressful dealing with trash here in Taiwan. I hate it. And so that room didn't feel clean. And then I got to this one, this felt clean. And then it was cockroaches. But I talked to I've met some people online that live here in Taiwan too. And I've been to one of my coworkers' houses and her place is nice. It's so nice, beautiful, nice and clean, everything. And she said, like, I saw one like in her sink or something. And I was like, it's not like, I guess in the US, you feel like it means you're dirty, which now, like, even now that I do have them, I would look at people in the US different too. Cause like reading up on it, like cockroaches like imprint on houses and they're just irritating. Like cockroaches are hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
But it felt like once, like I told my sorority sister, I was like, yo, like, what's the deal with the cockroaches or whatever? She's like, oh, like, just go get some traps. It's probably the weather change. And then also like my room is literally like outside, basically. It's kind of like outside, like if you go out if I go out my room, it is the outside. So I'm like right here too. It's very easy for them. And just by like how calm she responded, I was like, oh, so this is like a typical issue. All right. So I just got to get used to it. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So just give me some traps or whatever. And then I like calmed down. I was like, oh, okay. And then like it really hasn't been an issue. Like, it's like, okay, you make sure you're not leaving crumbs and stuff, which you shouldn't be doing anyways. So, you know, put your trash up in this area, put food in the fridge or whatever. And for the most part, you're not going to see them. I'll see them once. I see them maybe like once every 2 weeks, and they're usually like dead and or dying because the traps and stuff are working.
What about you mentioned food. What about food? How's food out there?
Food is good. I realize, which makes me wonder, I'm like, now that I'm here, I really wonder if I could really live anywhere else other than the US or Taiwan. Because Taiwanese food is, I think you could say it's pretty similar to Chinese food too, in the sense that it's often a lot of like breads, rice, of course, rice, noodles. I've realized I'm not a noodle fan. I'm a rice over noodles fan. Like I don't really like noodles. And then vegetables and meat. And that's all stuff that I really can work with. Like I eat most vegetables. Okay, like broccoli, carrots, I eat most vegetables, and I definitely eat most meat and stuff. And their seasoning is good. So for the most part, I'm chilling. Just yesterday, I totally brain fart because at my school they have school lunch, so I can eat it. So I just have my own bowl and I eat whatever the students eat, and it's nice. It's free. I don't have to do anything, and for the most part, it's pretty good. At least for me. Like now, like my coworkers are like, no, like they're like, no, this is not good. I'm gonna get my own food or whatever. And I think the more I eat better Taiwanese food, I'm starting to see what they mean, but it's still a pretty solid, like every day the students get rice and greens. Like that's like the basics. You'll have rice and greens, and then you get whatever the 2 other entrees are for the day, a fruit, and then I have to pass out the soup. Mm-hmm. So the soup is it. So they get all of those. So there's a lot of food to be had. But one of the days there was this thing, and because I'm like, you know, like you need to be trying everything. Like I'm out here, I'm not going to be scared of food or whatever. So put everything in there. That is probably it was one of the most disgusting things I've ever had in my life. Like I was like, what is this? And it ruined the flavor of everything else. Like I was eating my rice and it was soaking into it. The flavor had soaked into my rice and the other food, like the smell of it. The smell was strong and pungent. It was just bad. Like I don't even know how to describe it. And then totally.
What was the name of this? What was the name of it?
It's called bamboo. It's bamboo. Like bamboo, like the stuff that pandas eat.
Bamboo.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my gosh. So bad.
Bamboo.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. And I accidentally got it again. I was like, because yesterday I was like, why does my room smell so bad? Like I put out my trash. So I was like, maybe it's my trash can. Like maybe I waited too long. Nope, I'm still smelling it. I was like, oh, maybe I'm tripping. I opened my food. Why is it? I was like, and then it finally clicked because like when it was under the glass, it didn't, for whatever reason, it didn't click that that's what it was. Like when he was putting it into my thing. And then I got it and I smelled it and I was like, oh my God, not this stuff. I can't even eat the rest of the food in this. Nope, that's done.
Bamboo.
What
does it taste like? What do bamboo taste like? If anything.
It's bitter. Like the texture isn't bad. Like if it was just like, I don't know what the issue is with the taste, but the texture isn't like, the texture is kind of, it's like long, like thick things. Like it's like a long, I don't know. Like they definitely
Like a pasta, like a
slice it in
flat, thick
strips.
pasta.
Yes, like that.
Okay.
Like it's like a pasta, but obviously it's like vegetation, so it's a little bit chewy, like that, like vegetables would be chewy.
Right.
But it's just like
Right.
I think it's just bitter. I think that's like the only word I could think of to describe how horrible it is. I don't know what it is. It's just
Right.
bad. Like I tried because most stuff I'm like, because like you have to do for Taiwanese trash, you have to separate food waste from the carton that it comes in and all the it's just so much. It's so much, which it's a good system, but it's stressful on this end. And so for the most part, I try to eat everything because I think at that time I ate later than the students did. So like the food waste thing was already gone. So I would had to walk to Timbuktu just to throw away that little bit of food. So I was like, F it, I'll finish it. But man, that was the one that I was like struggling. Like this is really and that was the day that there was less rice left over. So I didn't even have that much rice to like wash it down or like cover the taste. It's just bad. I don't know. It's like, and maybe it's me, but it's just bitter. Cause obviously people like it. They be eating it. It's bitter. And I just cannot. Oh, it's bad.
What about the do Americans need a visa to get to Taiwan, to go to Taiwan?
So right now, yes, because of COVID. But usually you can just do, it would just be a vacation visa, I think it would be called. And Taiwan, theirs beyond quick, lickety split. Like me getting here, because of COVID, everybody was nobody can come in unless you have your visa. Because usually, as an English teacher to Taiwan, I could come in on a vacation visa and then just start working and then just do the work to change it into a working visa, like no issue. But because of COVID, you can't come in unless you have a visa. So the Ministry of Education got like completely inundated with all of these people coming in at the same time. Like, hey, we need all of this. We need you to do our education to get our work permit so that we could submit that for our visa. So they were like backed up. Usually it would take like 10 days. They were backed up for it took like 6 weeks for them to get my stuff in.
Oh, dang.
But then I sent my visa, like I sent my visa app to Tico, which is, it's the Taiwan embassy. And there's a bunch, like we have the San Francisco one and an LA one in California. There's a bunch all over the US. And I sent it in on Monday, and I got it back on Friday. Like, they're quick. They're so quick. Right. And so I was in my, I was on my flight that next Monday, got my visa on Friday, and I flew in Monday night. Yeah, so it was quick. It was interesting. So, cool. But it should just be a typical visa, and it shouldn't take that long to do, like, as long as you handle it beforehand. And again, like, there's Ticos everywhere that you can send your stuff to.
So yeah, that's something you have to get prior to going, because some spots you can just get your visa right at the airport and just pay for it or whatever.
Or just stamp it, whatever.
Yeah, you have to get this prior to arriving. Is that what you're saying?
I think you do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah, that's that. You don't want to go there, and then next thing you know, you can't go in because you ain't got your visa, and it takes a process. So, I had someone who had to act. She didn't have her passport because she was in the military. They said that you didn't need a passport. And next thing you know, she got there. They turned it right back around. She had to go back. I was like, oh man, see that. Make sure you got all your paperwork, proper documentations, save a whole bunch of time and money. And then
oh my gosh.
What last, as we, wrap everything up, what last things do you want to talk about Taiwan before we head on out?
There's the people here are super nice. I feel like people definitely try. I don't, people definitely try if if they don't speak English, they'll definitely try to work with you. Like they definitely negotiate, you know, like, but I feel like the people are very nice. The thing I like about Taiwan is the first Asian country to legalize gay marriage. So it's a definitely, so like we had the Pride event and everything. So it's definitely a much more, at least on that end, they're more progressive. I'm still learning about other areas, but that's something that I really appreciate. It's pretty easy to get around via metro. There's just like a lot of nature and palaces and stuff. Like, again, I'm still trying to anchor myself in and figure out my life. It's going to be a minute. It's definitely because language and being a teacher is its own demon. Like oh my gosh. So learning how to be a teacher and trying to balance that. So sometimes on the weekends, I've been a little too exhausted to try to do a lot of stuff, but I am going to try to get a trip to like some hot springs or something, like go somewhere interesting. But Taiwan is small. You could go, it takes only 9 hours to get down to the bottom. Like it take you longer to go from top to bottom in California than it would to, like, Taiwan is smaller than California technically. Like it's amazing. So you can get to a lot of stuff. Like left to right is like what, 5 hours probably, east to west 5 hours. Like it's a small place, but there's a lot to do, lots of food, lots of places to see. And I think for the most part, you can get by with Google Translate. Google Translate and common sense and like just no fear, like being willing to ask questions and feel. Because there are people like I just went and got food yesterday and the lady was like, oh, like, do you need help? And I was like, oh, I actually think for once I got it. And she's like, really? You could read Chinese? And I was like, well, you know, I have my translator right here or whatever. And I'm starting to recognize. I think that's the other thing too. If you can, granted, you can, again, like though, you could use your translator because I didn't take studying Chinese seriously, but definitely learn the characters for your favorite food. That would be the thing because sometimes they don't have pictures or whatever. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like every day I wake up and I'm just like, wow, I'm like really in Taiwan. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around that, but it's so far from what I've seen, it's a very relaxed place. The people here are super nice. The food is good. There's just a lot to do. And I also just really appreciate how they handled COVID and the fact that now that there's no COVID over here because the government cared that much means a lot to me too. Like there is this sense of like community needing to care about each other. And I really appreciate that. But yeah, still learning. There's a lot to learn.
That's
lots
dope.
to experience.
That's real dope, man. I think we got a lot of wealth of information, a lot of wealth of knowledge. And then to all my travelers out there, we do have to wrap things up. We have to catch a flight back to our home airport. So hopefully y'all got a lot of information, some souvenirs y'all can take back with y'all. So make sure, y'all have that. And then on our way back, actually, T, we're going to have to, we have one last segment, and this is the lightning round. So I'm going to ask you a list of questions and you have to answer them as fast as possible. Quick. All right. So, and you can only answer in one word answers. So you can't, no sentences.
Yes, we could do that.
Just one.
Be quick.
Yeah. Rapid fire. So quick. And then now let me see. I think I'm ready. Are you? All right.
It is zombie.
So question number 1. What is your favorite airline?
Southwest.
Your favorite hotel?
Oof. I don't use them.
Your favorite cruise line?
Never been.
Your favorite state?
Oof. Washington.
Your favorite country?
Mexico.
Your favorite, you don't use hotel, do you use hostels? What's your favorite hostel booking site?
Oh, hostel. Oh, what's it called? Hostel World.
Hostel World. Your favorite flight booking site?
Hopper.
That's a good one. What one thing that you must bring on all your trips?
Sketchbook.
Where do you want to go next?
Korea. South Korea.
Nice. What other state would you like to live in? Or would you live in?
Arizona?
That hot place?
No, I need heat though.
What other country other than Taiwan and of course the US, what other country would you live in?
Colombia.
Good one. Last but not least, what is your favorite travel podcast?
This one.
Great answer. Great answer. The Global Travel Podcast. I like that. So that was cool. Glad we had a chance to do that. And to all my listeners out there, we have to start wrapping things up. We are approaching our home airport. And you know what? Thank you so much, T-Land, for showing us some love. And all the travelers out there, I'm going to leave her information. I believe you have a YouTube channel or something that you have.
Yes, it's Iridescently Tea. Yeah,
okay.
I'll give you the link and everything.
Please, yeah, and I think I have it, but give it to me anyway. I'm gonna put all the information in the description so you guys can follow her. If you got some more questions that you want to ask, if you're thinking about going to Taiwan, she can definitely school you. So yeah, definitely do that. And go ahead.
We're hiring. My job is hiring. So if you're interested or whatever, please hit us up.
Why not? So you got the plug right there. So if you're looking to work abroad or something, you got the plug. Yes. Ask her the questions. And then with that being said, all my travelers out there, I need you to pay attention. Y'all already know what time of day it is. The plane is now descending. I need you back into your seats, buckle up, your trays up, seats in an upright position. And before we land, if you can do us a favor, T-Land, if you can give us one last piece of travel advice, what would that be?
My just general motto: travel and live so that you have no regrets. Just do it. Do the dang thing. Try it. You could be embarrassed later, feel awkward later, but at least you did it. You know, there's no, I didn't do it. Yeah. That would be it.
Love it. That was great advice. And now we are, we're landed. We're safely landed. Thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel. See, I done messed that all up. But I'm going to redo that again because we can edit this out. So that's always good. So we officially landed. We are back home. And I hope y'all got some good information. Now that we're back late, do it again. Run it back one more time.
You all good. It'd be like that.
Yeah, one more time. It'd be like that. As I said, I wouldn't be able to do. I mean, I guess I can do it live. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind doing it live. I'm gonna do that one day. But anyways, now what is it again? All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we have officially landed safe and sound. So you guys can unbuckle your seatbelts, grab your bags and your belongings, and exit the cabin. Thank you for flying here with us at the Global Travel Podcast, and see you on our next trip. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording now. Bam. If you would like to be a guest on our show and tell us about your travel experiences, then leave us a comment in the comment section below so we can reach out to you. Also, if you have any countries, states, or cities that you'd like us to review, please let us know so we can plan a trip there. Lastly, if you got some good value today and liked our podcast, please hit the like button and click subscribe so you can travel with us again next time. So subscribe right now because you don't want to miss the next trip. With that being said, over and out.